it's me, Kathy Hill, former chef at Grey Gables Markets and Foodies Markets and several restaurants along the way. I am now retired and the proud curator of a page called Culinarily Yours on Facebook. Please join me. We're starting a new feature, or some new features. Today we're going to do a video featuring my long-time favorite Thanksgiving stuffing, sausage and apple stuffing made with Portuguese sweet bread traditionally. But in my new home in the south, I couldn't find any, so we're using King's Hawaiian rolls instead, which everybody loves, so I don't think that'll be a problem. Kelly's joining me. She's right here, waiting for scraps. And let's get going. I'm going to start out by just posting the video of making it. I will put the detailed recipe and still pictures on the Culinarily Yours Facebook site, so you can know the exact amounts that you need to make this recipe. And but for now, we'll just put it together and let's go. Okay, so we're starting off on medium heat. Unfortunately, in my new house, I only have an electric oven, but that's okay. It has its benefits. So we're starting off with some butter, 3/4 of a stick of butter. When you're melting butter, it's always a good idea to cut it into smaller pieces because it will melt faster. I'm going to show you ahead of time, I chopped up some celery, some onions, and some Granny Smith apples. Again, the recipe will tell you exactly how many. And some bulk sausage that I've already pre-browned. Give this a minute to get going. While our butter is melting, we're going to tear up some King's Hawaiian rolls into pieces about yo big. This is about 1.5 packages, and we're just going to leave those in the bowl and add the ingredients to them as we go along. We're going to add in the celery, onions, and Granny Smith apples. This time I usually season with some salt, pepper, and some Bell's seasoning. That's a stuffing mix. You usually find it around the holidays in the seasonal aisle. Unfortunately, the supermarkets in the south don't have it. So what I'm going to use is a proprietary herb mix. I'm going to get you a little closer in there. There we go. That's better. This is just something I keep on hand. It's just a mix of dried herbs, and they'll just have to suffice for now. But if you can get the Bell's, do that, because the Bell's has nice, great amount of sage and thyme and all those nice poultry seasonings that you like to have in stuffing. So we're just going to put that in there. Pepper. Some salt. This is some nice kosher salt. You don't want to put too much in because you're going to be using chicken broth to make the stuffing, and that is salty in its own right. So you don't want too much salt. Unless you like a lot of salt, then you go for it. I'm very sensitive to salt, so I don't like it so much, but we're going to run these on medium heat, sweat them out a bit, and let them get nice and soft. And then we're going to add in our sausage. As you can see, our fruits and vegetables here are softening up nicely. Go ahead and add in our sausage. Now the sausage, you want to crumble it up into the pan when you cook it. You want to cook it until there's no pink that's visible. This particular batch of sausage had very little fat, so I didn't drain it. But if your sausage yields a lot of fat, just drain it through a sieve. Save some of the drippings to use to cook the vegetables in, because that gives it more flavor. And you want to use the same pan that you brown the sausage in. Scrape up some of those browned bits from the meat. That, again, is going to give you a lot more flavor because of the time constraints of this video, I did a lot ahead of time, so I didn't use the same pan because I did it ahead of time. But so that's going to warm up nicely. As you can see, our sausage and vegetables are nicely softened and very delicious. So we're going to add those to our bread. Now, I have always said that your best tools are your hands. If you're not into getting in there with your hands, then it's perfectly fine to do it with a spoon. We're going to start with a spoon, but I'll be getting in there. And to this mixture, we want to add... Okay, so we have all of our ingredients in the bowl. And we're going to add some chicken stock, or you can use turkey stock or whatever you got. And this stock is made of something called Better Than Bouillon, and the mixing instructions are on the container. For years, soup bases were only available in professional kitchens, and then one day in the grocery store I found this, and that's what it is. Only made for regular retail use. No need to use bouillon or anything like that, but you can always get, you know, a container of College Inn or whatever, that'll work just as well. I'm also going to add some apple cider to give it a little bit more appley essence, or apple essence as we'll call it today, like that. Alright, so I'm going to get in there and mush it all up. And that bread, liquids, vegetables, meat. It looks like it's a little wet. I think I'm going to have to add some more rolls. So we're going to up that quantity to 2 packs of rolls. Now, if you run out of the Hawaiian rolls or the Portuguese sweet bread or whatever it is that you're using, you can always just fill in some any kind of bread, or just rip it up and pour it in there to make up the consistency you want. And the consistency that you want is pretty wet, because we're going to bake this. And you could put it in the bird and cook it that way. I like a nice crispy crust on my stuffing, so I choose to cook it separately from my bird. And we're going to tear those up nicely. Looks like I might even need a little more. Because when this cooks, the bread is going to absorb a lot of the liquid. So that'll, like I say, you want it pretty wet. I'll show you. As soon as I'm done ripping and smushing all these technical chef terms. All right. It's beautiful. It's also heavy. So anyway, can you see? That's what it looks like. It's a little wet still. I'm going to add a few more slices of bread, but I only have frozen right now, so I'm going to return to this and then we'll bake our stuffing. I found a couple of hamburger rolls in my freezer, so I thawed them out in the microwave and I'm ripping them in. That should be perfect. I gotta get in there and squish them up. Yep, that did it. Perfect. I don't know if you can see, but see how it's a little sloppy. But we're going to cook it again, so that's going to absorb all that nice flavor. Now, if you want to find the time, right now. You might want to test it for seasonings, make sure it's enough pepper, enough salt, enough herbs, all that sort of thing. Before you put it in the oven, it's always good to test as you go to make sure that the seasonings are correct. And let's get this puppy in the oven. Now preheat your oven to 350. And in any kind of a baking dish, I've chosen a Pyrex if you only have metal, or you can do it in a couple of round ones if you want to save some for leftovers. I don't know what size family you're cooking for this year. I'm going to be missing mine. Maybe I'll cook a chicken. So you want to spray it pretty generously with some pan spray. Add in your mix. I put mine in a little bit smaller pan so it's really kind of piled in here, so it's not going to dry up too much as it cooks. That fits pretty perfectly. And Kelly is going to love to lick this bowl. Here she comes now. Hear her pitter pattering across the floor. She shouldn't have the onions, but they're cooked, so they should be all right. Now, if your baking dish is this full, like mine is, you want to put this dish on a cookie sheet just in case there's any spillover while this is baking. This is going to go for about 45 minutes. And everything in it is cooked already, so you don't have to worry about anything being undercooked. There's no raw eggs in this stuffing or raw meat or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about things being undercooked. When the top is as crispy as you like, had to give Kelly her bowl. When the top is as crispy as you like, and sometimes I like to actually spritz a little pan spray on top as well, just to give it that kind of golden brown exterior. And let's get a cookie sheet. That'll keep from making a mess of your oven if anything happens to boil over or cook over. I'm going to cook this for, like I said, about 45 minutes at 350. And then we're going to check it. And if any adjustments need to be made, I will add on an edit and let you know. In the meantime, happy Thanksgiving. And there you have it. It's a thing of beauty. Enjoy it. Kelly enjoyed hers. She's over there resting comfortably. Say goodnight, Kelly. Say happy Thanksgiving. Bye, everybody.